Hey everyone, welcome to our channel. In this video, we are talking everything about the best Android phone that are great to buy in 2023.
Before we get started, don't forget to click subscribe if you want more updates on technology.
Android ecosystem is all about choice. When it comes time to update, iPhone users have a lesser selection of new devices to choose from than Android users have. Some of them even fold in half. However, I have some bad news if you reside in the US. We don't have nearly as many options as you'll find in Asia and Europe due to complex capitalism and geopolitical reasons. Names like Huawei, Xiaomi, Honor, and Oppo are simply unavailable here. This guide is largely US-centric because I have only included products that I have thoroughly examined first. What we are looking when we buy the Android phone. I think people are looking the longevity, a great screen, quality cameras, wireless charging, and processor. Here are some best Android phone you should buy in 2023. 1. Samsung Galaxy S23 Plus. There's a good reason why Samsung's Galaxy S series phones have been the preferred high-end Android phone for the past few years. Especially in the US, they're amazing gadgets. The Galaxy S23 Plus is a slight improvement to that successful recipe, but that makes it still successful. Every requirement for a 2023 flagship feature is nicely checked off, including a stunning, sizable 6.6 inches screen, a strong camera system with a telescopic lens, reliable weather resistance, and an excellent battery life. Although it costs $999, it is not the most expensive flagship phone available. It is hardly surprised that Qualcomm's newest chipset, the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2, is present in the S23 Plus. But what is interesting is that the Snapdragon CPU is used in every single version of this phone sold worldwide. In the past, some countries would receive an Exynos chip built by Samsung. That's fantastic news because the S23 Plus really shines with the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2. Daily performance is excellent, and battery endurance has greatly increased. The Plus this year has a bigger 700 mAh battery pack, but the 8 Gen 2 is equally well tuned to conserve life. The S23 Plus imaging system, which consists of a 50-megapixel main camera, an ultra-wide camera, and a 3x telephoto camera, isn't as impressive as the S23 Ultras, but it's more than sufficient for most circumstances. The S23 Plus occasionally produces beautiful images, especially when used in telephoto portrait mode. However, it can occasionally overdo the HDR processing with some heavy-handed techniques. We don't particularly like Samsung's software either. It would be ideal to avoid having to dance with Bixby in the first place, but with a little work up front, you can delete or at least hide the majority of the proprietary apps and services Samsung insists on downloading. On the plus side, Samsung promises 4 years of OS updates and 5 years of security updates, which is one of the strongest software support policies of any manufacturer of Android devices. Even if the initial setup requires some effort to get right, at least you won't have to repeat the process in a few years. 2. Google Pixel 7. The Google Pixel the 7th of May passed for either an affordable flagship or a high-end mid-range device, depending on how you look at it. It costs $599, which makes it slightly more expensive than a mid-range phone like the Galaxy A54 but less expensive than Samsung's S-series phones. Its specifications are in line with this. You get a premium design and features like wireless charging and an IP68 rating, but you are without attractive extras like a telephoto camera and a 120Hz screen. The Pixel 7 is a great price if those factors aren't really important to you. Google's newest proprietary chipset, Tensor G2, is used in the Pixel 7 and its upgraded 7 Pro brother. It provides flagship-level performance but also includes Google-only features that are exclusive to the Pixel series. Though generally intelligent, their level of real usefulness is a bit of a mixed bag, in a way similar to noise cancellation for phone conversations. Clear calling, a feature unique to the Pixel 7 series, making it simpler to hear someone you're speaking to while they're in a noisy location. Other elements that are supposed to make calling customer service and navigating phone trees less uncomfortable don't always function as expected. They aren't necessarily bad, though, as Google has shown that it is devoted to giving its products lifetime support through updates and new features. The Pixel 7's actual strength lies in its software. It will get 3 OS updates and 5 years worth of security patches, assuring that it will be supported for a very long time. It runs a pure version of Android that is free of unnecessary assistants and app shops. You'll have to put up with a few hardware compromises Google made in order to keep the price low. Even though the 6.3 inches screen is quite adequate, its 90Hz refresh rate is a little slower than the super smooth scrolling 120Hz screens on most phones in this price range. The Pixel 7 lacks a telephoto rear camera as well, but the 50-megapixel main sensor's 2x crop mode does a commendable job of simulating a real optical telephoto lens. The Pixel 7 Pro's ultra-wide camera is also a generation older. But aside from those few limitations, choosing the Pixel 7 over the 7 Pro won't leave you with much of a loss, and you'll surely save a few additional dollars. 3. Samsung Galaxy S23 Ultra. Not for the weak of heart, the Samsung Galaxy S23 Ultra. It costs a lot, starting at $1,199 and is enormous because of its 6.8 inches screen. With a Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 engine, an integrated silo for storage for the S Pen pen, and 2 telephoto cameras on the back, it is also the most powerful Android phone currently available in the US. It's a little difficult to think of anything else Samsung could possibly include in this phone. The 6.8 inches OLED panel in the middle of this spec monster has a variable refresh rate up to 120 Hz and a 1440p resolution. It's beautiful. And even better news is that it uses less battery power than the model from the previous year. One of the main arguments in favor of spending the extra money on the S23 Ultra rather than the S23 Plus is its camera system. There is nothing exactly like it available on any other flagship phone. A 200-megapixel main camera, a 3x and 10x telephoto camera, an ultra-wide camera, and, oh yes, although most of the time you'll only get a 12-megapixel file from the 200-megapixel item, the extra data from all those pixels seems to assist the system produce some amazing shots. 4. OnePlus 11 5G. Samsung and Google control the majority of the US Android market. The OnePlus 11 5G stands out for someone looking for a high-performing gadget for a little less money. While we do have a few brands to choose from in addition to those mentioned above, although it has the superior Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 CPU, the S23 Ultra with a comparable processor costs $300 more than this device at $699. In addition to these advantages, the OnePlus 11 sports a brilliant 6.7 inches 1440p display with a high 120 Hz refresh rate. Additionally, the integrated fast charger offers extremely quick wired charging that can reach 80 W in the US and charge the large 5 mAh battery from empty to full in less than 30 minutes. On the downside, a few features that are included on most other phones at this price are absent from this model. The first is wireless charging, which could be a deal breaker for those who are accustomed to charging their phones wirelessly. Furthermore, unlike practically every other flagship, the OnePlus 11 is only rated to IP64, not IP68. This implies that while it can tolerate splashes and spray, it wasn't designed to withstand prolonged submersion in water. The OnePlus 11's attractiveness is constrained by those two omitted features. The 11 5G is a terrific option to obtain good performance and wireless charging if you don't mind dropping your phone in a puddle and prefer to charge your phone rapidly instead of using a wireless charging pad. 5. Asus Zenfone 9. The definition of a small phone is arbitrary. Only a few years ago, what we now consider little was enormous, yet at the moment, everything with a screen less than 6.1 inches falls into this category. In the Android ecosystem, where large screens are king, this is particularly true. With a 5.9 inches display, the $699 Asus Zenfone 9 is absurdly small when compared to devices like the S23 Ultra. Additionally, it's a charming little gadget with superb construction and a well-thought-out design. It's your best option for a small Android phone, but there are a few crucial caveats. The first is that neither 4G nor 5G of Verizon's networks support it. For many people in the US, that automatically eliminates it from consideration. Additionally, Asus only guarantees 2 years of software upgrades, and the device was released in July 2022. We are now almost halfway through its lifespan. Wireless charging is also absent, which is a bummer. On the plus side, the Zenfone 9 is IP68 rated, so splashes and dunks shouldn't harm it. Its main 50-megapixel rear camera employs gimbal-like stabilization for incredibly smooth video recording, and it's powered by a powerful Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1 CPU. On the Zenfone 9, you'll also discover a headphone jack, which is just considerate of Asus to provide. The Zenfone 9 has too many drawbacks to be generally recommended. But if you're on the appropriate wireless network and none of its other flaws are deal breakers, this is a gadget that will undoubtedly please aficionados of compact phones. There are many more great Android devices which are not covered here, but among all the phones in the market, these are the best phones to buy in 2023. That's all for today. If you love this video, please subscribe the channel and hit the bell icon.